Soon.
Welcome live to Madison Square Garden Spelt Forum for the 62nd Annual Daily News Charities Golden Gloves. We're in the semifinals, and we've got a lot of good action coming your way. Hello, everyone. I'm Sam Rosen, along with Randy Gordon. It's a pleasure to welcome you to our coverage of the Daily News Charities Golden Gloves, and we've got a lot of good open competition tonight, especially in the heavyweight division, Randy. A lot of champions there.
Well, one of the guys you should really watch is Michael Bent, because he's after his 4th Golden Gloves championship, and he also hopes to win here and then go on eventually to the 1988 Olympic Games. Another man I want you to watch is Webster Vincent, a man who lost 2 years ago to Michael Bent. He says he wants his hands on Bent once again. He hopes he gets him tonight, but as we talk, they still haven't made up the fight, so right now we don't know.
Webster Vincent won the Heavyweight Open Championship last year when Michael Bent was fighting in the Nationals, did not compete last year in this tournament. Webster Vincent beat Ike Padilla, who himself was a novice champion the year before.
So there's a lot of difference, because Padilla wants his hand on Vincent now, and Vincent wants his hands on Bent. So no matter how the matchups go tonight, these guys really don't care. They want at each other.
We'll also see Ray Rivera, a 3-time champion, 156 pounds. He, too, is looking at the Golden Gloves as a stepping stone toward the Olympics.
And he certainly has a right to look at it that way, because this man is loaded with talent. He's got hand speed, foot speed, power in both fists. This is a very interesting division, the 156-pounders.
Golden Gloves, full of good boxers and good boxing action. We'll be set to go with our opening bout in the 62nd Annual Daily News Charities Golden Gloves semifinals. Welcome back. We're at ringside here at Madison Square Garden Spelt Forum. We are getting set for our opening bout in the semifinals of the Daily News Charities Golden Gloves. We'll start in the 165-pound open division, and a couple of fighters with Golden Gloves experience. Keith Providence and Rickey Goodwine will be going at it. And this was a championship that was won by Terminator Coles last year. Terminator has since turned pro. We are awaiting the arrival of the boxers in the ring. Mentioned Ray Rivera in the 156-pound category. He will not be fighting tonight. He'll be on the card tomorrow night here at Madison Square Garden Spelt Forum. The 3rd night of semifinal action will be next week, next Thursday. That will be allowing the fighters in the open class who fight tonight and tomorrow night to go on to national competition in Colorado Springs, Randy. Last year, because of the Nationals were fought around the same time as the Golden Gloves, Michael Bent had to choose between fighting in the Nationals and going for the U.S. national team to fight in the Pan Am Games, or to fight in the Golden Gloves, and he went for the Nationals.
Well, that was a real heartbreak last year for Bent, because had he gone into the gloves last year and won it, well, he could have been going for 5 in a row to tie his buddy Mark Breland, but it didn't happen, and he chose the other tournament. He says he's not sorry he did, but he just wishes it could have worked out a different way.
Okay, we are set for the introductions to our opening bout. Let's go to ring announcer Bill Lamine.
Ladies and gentlemen, the first contest of the evening, semi-final round, 3 2-minute rounds, 156-pound open class. Introducing in the gold corner, representing the Times Square AC, Keith Providence. His opponent in the blue corner, competing for the Knights Community Center, Rickey Goodwine. Your referee is Marcel Hagee.
Marcel Hagee, the referee. He does not figure in the scoring. 5 judges at ringside do the scoring. In the gold corner, Keith Providence. In blue, Rickey Goodwine. Rickey Goodwine was a finalist in 1987. He also fought in 1986 and was eliminated in the 2nd round. Keith Providence was a finalist in the novice division in 1985 and got to the semifinals last year. Keith Providence in the gold is 24 years old.
Keep in mind that the judges are looking for the amount of punches scored.
It is a knockdown. The right hand sent Rickey Goodwine down. He's shaky as he gets to his feet. Takes the mandatory 8 count. Marcel Hagee wipes off the gloves. Goodwine looks into his corner and continues on. Goodwine representing Knights of Columbus. Knights Community Center, I should say. Providence has got a good right hand, Randy.
It certainly does. He straightened it up a lot from last year. Last year he used to crank it up a lot. Now he's launching it much more from the shoulder.
Hagee gets them apart. Rickey Goodwine, you're looking there at Keith Providence, who in 1985 was a finalist. Providence fighting well here.
The key to amateur boxing is the amount of punches you throw. And it doesn't even matter if you land some of the jabs on the bicep, the elbow, the forearm. As long as you're landing the shots, and if you keep your other opponent just thinking on defense, not doing much, you've got to win the round. Just throw a lot of punches.
Rickey Goodwine in the blue last year lost to Donald Leonardo in the finals by a decision. Finals of the 165-pound novice class. And the end of round one. Goodwine looks a little tired here, Randy, in the end of the first round.
Well, he got nailed with that right hand in the first round, which knocked him on his face. And he got up and he looked tired right then, and he tried to fight back, but his punches just don't seem to have too much snap on them. And I'm wondering just how hard he trained. Did he get enough rest for this semifinal match? Keith Providence, on the other hand, looks in real good shape, threw a lot of punches in that first round, and I don't think there's any question that that first round belonged to Providence. And it was in the first round that a right hand was planted. I'm not sure if that was on the side of the head.
That right uppercut was good, and there was several good right hands that sent him down.
It might have been one which started to weaken the foundation, the right hand, and there were about two more. To me, that looked more like a shove down than anything else.
Well, I think that combination of the right then the left, that short left, really had Goodwine going backwards and on his way down. The little shove was a little finishing touch. Round two, and the right, that stuns Goodwine, and he'll take an 8 count here from Marcel Hagee.
4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
Don't forget any combination of 3 knockdowns or 4 knockdowns and standing 8s in a fight. 3 in one round, 4 for the fight will end it. And Goodwine's already taken 2.
He's been down in the first, and here in the second, he's taken a standing 8.
Providence looks terrific. He's throwing good body shots.
The way he's working has to be impressing the judges. And here comes another standing 8.
There's 2 in this round, 3 for the fight. For the bout.
7, 8.
Keith Providence in the gold, an overall amateur record of 18-3. He's just pounding away, wearing down Rickey Goodwine. Goodwine is no match. He backs off. That's going to be it. It's all over. Keith Providence has moved into the finals for the second time in his amateur career. He was a finalist in 1985 in the novice class. He'll be there in the 165-pound open in the main arena at Madison Square Garden. And Rickey Goodwine, he was just outpunched.
From the opening bell, Sam, he never really was in this, just didn't have the snap. Last year, he had looked to have a lot of snap and speed and power, but that was all missing for this fight. And he let Providence just take it right away from him shortly after the opening bell, going down in the first round, taking 2 standing 8 counts in the second. A very nice performance from Keith Providence.
Providence very aggressive. He's from the Bronx, representing the Times Square Athletic Club. Johnny Pearsall is right there. The man who trains him, works with him. 3rd year in the Golden Gloves for Keith Providence, and a fine showing.
Gentlemen, please.
Let's go to Bill Lamine for the official announcement.
The referee stops the contest after 1 minute, 5 seconds of the second round. The winner in the gold corner, Providence.
Keith Providence advances to the finals. Now he's got a couple of weeks off to prepare for championship night in Madison Square Garden's main arena. We'll be back with more of our semifinal coverage of the Golden Gloves in a moment. Set for our second semifinal in the 165-pound open class. Let's go to Bill Lamine for the
Ladies and
introduction.
gentlemen, the next contest, semifinal round, 156-pound open class, 3 2-minute rounds. Introducing in the gold corner, representing the Police Athletic League, Jade Scott. His opponent in the blue corner, competing for the Yonkers Police Athletic League, Sal DiFiore.
Twenty-two-year-old Sal DiFiore, Marcel Hagee is the referee. They fought in the semifinals last year, and Jade Scott was the winner. Scott went to the finals last year, lost to Terminator Coles, who is now fighting as a professional.
You might remember the story last year. If you don't, I'll relay it to you. Jade Scott was fighting in this tournament. His mother had passed away at the start of the tournament, and he had to run around for the funeral and everything else, and a lot of people said don't box in it. He did, and he went all the way to the finals with a heavy heart.
Jade Scott won a decision over Patrick Cullen in the quarterfinals. Sal DiFiore knocked out Luke Underwood. Stopped Underwood, knocked him down twice. Watch for the left hook of Sal DiFiore, the smaller of the two fighters in the blue. And obviously for DiFiore, his job is to get inside. Scott is only 18 years old. DiFiore a little wild, gave him a little backhand shot. Scott's punches are still wide from the side, not straight. Caught DiFiore with a right hand coming in.
Coaching in the corner twice.
Warning from Marcel Hagee about coaching from the corner. You can't do it in the amateurs.
If there's one more of those warnings, a point will be taken away from the coach of DiFiore from the corner.
DiFiore has been aggressive, charging in there, but meanwhile, as he's charging in, Scott has been landing punches, and that scores points. Punches landing, scoring. Points for Jade Scott in the goal. Final seconds, round 1. Semifinals, 165-pound open class. Round 2, 165-pound open semifinals. The winner to meet Keith Providence. Jade Scott in the goal, landing a slapping right hand to the side of the head of Sal DiFiore. Thus far, Scott has thrown more punches. Now DiFiore wading in. DiFiore with some redness under his right eye.
Well, he's been running into some pretty stiff shots, Sam, but he's been coming back with some pretty good punches of his own. And if this round stays like this, it's going to be a tough one to score.
I'd say right here the more effective punch has been landed by Jade Scott. He has stopped DiFiore in his tracks a couple of times with some good shots.
I'd have to say that Jade Scott in that last exchange might have been only a punch away from administering a standing 8 count.
That is ruled a slip, but I disagree. I thought he was wobbly from a right hand.
I disagree too, Sam. The right hand caught him and he stumbled. It wasn't that he fell off balance. He was off balance because he got caught and hurt.
DiFiore keeps getting caught coming in. He's lunging a little too much. Scott's reach advantage has been a decisive difference here. Marcel Hagee about to step in. It'll be a standing 8 count for Sal DiFiore. Jade Scott dominating this bout.
7, 8.
Late in round 2. Again, Scott lands, and Marcel Hagee decides to stop it. Jade Scott has outpunched Sal DiFiore, and Scott will advance to the final. Jade Scott representing the PAL. Sal Carenti there from the Yonkers PAL. Outstanding boxing coach, Sal Carenti. Jade Scott will fight for the Golden Gloves championship for the second year in a row.
Ladies and gentlemen,
He was a semifinalist in 1986 and a finalist last year when he lost to Terminator Coles. He'll go against Keith Providence this year.
Well, it was in round number 2 that he got hammered. The first round was pretty close, but then Jade Scott opened it up in the second after a quick start in the second by DiFiore. Then Scott came on with some combinations, nailed him there with a combination, and the referee gave him a standing 8 count. And then came the end when Scott just kept his distance, measured him, and drove some solid shots in there. And there was a right hand which buckled the knees of DiFiore. He came off the ropes, his knees buckled. Heggie had seen enough and waved an end to it.
Let's get the official announcement
Ladies
from Bill
and gentlemen,
Lemine.
the referee stops the contest after 1 minute, 30 seconds of the second round. The winner in the gold corner, Scott.
So, both semifinals in the 165-pound open class end in the second round. Keith Providence stops Rickey Goodwine, and here Jade Scott exits a winner, stopping Sal DiFiore in the second round to advance to the Golden Gloves final. We'll be back in just a moment. There's good professional boxing coming your way here on Madison Square Garden Network Friday night at 7:30, featuring junior welterweight Howard Davis Jr. going against Shelton LeBlanc. That's our main event. Bruce Beck and Randy Gordon will bring you the action at 7:30 on Friday night. And speaking of Howard Davis Jr., remember back to the amateur days? He was a great Golden Glover here at Madison Square Garden in 1973. He won his first of 4 Golden Gloves championships. That was in the 126-pound sub-novice division. He went on in 1974 and 75 to win the 126-pound Open Championships. And in 1976 won the 135 Open and went on to win the gold medal in the Olympics in Montreal. Howard Davis Jr. is with us at ringside. He's with Randy. Let's join him right now.
And that skinny, quick 126-pounder is now one of the top 140-pound professionals in the world, Howard Davis Jr. What is going on in the back right now with a lot of the fighters who are about to enter the semifinals? What is going through their mind?
Well, right now, I think a lot of them got a lot of butterflies with the anticipation of going on to the Olympics. This is a stepping stone for them going to the Olympics. Once they reach and finalize here to the finals of the Golden Gloves, they go on to bigger and better things, and hopefully a gold medal at the Olympics.
What's the real key to winning these amateur fights?
Well, I don't know what the status is today, but when I was boxing in the Golden Gloves from 73 to 76, the key was to hit and not get hit. And the emphasis was not mainly on knocking your opponent down or knocking him out. It was to hit cleanly with force and not get hit. I try to use the science, more or less.
Well, good luck on Friday night. You stick around because we're going to be talking more to you. Right now, let's go back to Sam Rosen at ringside.
Thanks, Randy, and Howard Davis Jr. will stay with us at ringside. We'll get some of his insight into our Golden Gloves action. We're set to continue with the semifinals. Let's go to Bill Lemine for the introduction to the next bout.
Ladies and gentlemen, the next contest, semifinal round, 178-pound novice class, 3 2-minute rounds. Introducing in the gold corner, representing the South Queens Boys Club, Scott Lopeck. His opponent in the blue corner, competing for Gleason Gymnasium, Donald Eldard.
Ronald Eldard in the blue, Scott Lopeck in the gold. Eldard is 23 years old, from Queens, fighting out of Gleason's gym. Lopeck is 22 years old. Lopeck in the gold, representing the South Queens Boys Club. Lopeck's first Golden Gloves. These are novice fighters. Lopeck is 3-0 as an amateur, as is Eldard. Eldard in the blue, Lopeck in the gold. Good combination by Lopeck.
Lopeck fought about a week ago and won just an incredible fight. He stopped Joseph Arpaia in the quarterfinals in the 3rd round, and what a fight it was. If this fight is anything like that one, we're in for a treat.
Eldard coming back, some good body shots. Good right hand got in by Eldard. He's backing Lopeck up for the first time. And again, those body shots by Eldard effective. Lopeck started out quickly. He slowed down here.
That's exactly what happened in the Arpaia fight. He took a standing 8 count in the 1st round of the fight and then started coming on strong in the 2nd.
Straight left hand scored for Lopeck. But meanwhile, look at the body shots by Eldard. Seconds to go, round 1.
Lopeck has to get off those ropes because whenever you stand there and let the other guy wail away, even if he's just about missing, but if you're doing nothing, judges, there's no way you're going to win the round.
His points being scored by Ronald Eldard here.
Lopeck got lucky there because Eldard came in with his head and drew a caution for it.
End of round 1 and a good one for Ronald Eldard. You always try for a fast start, Howard, in bouts like these?
Well, they only got 2 minutes, and they really have to go at it in the beginning, you know, because time is the key. And with only 2 minutes, you have to get going quick.
There's that straight left hand by Lopeck, but meanwhile, Eldard backed him up with those body shots.
Yeah, I see what he's doing here. He's keeping him busy. He's a very motivated fighter.
Tommy Gallagher in the corner of Scott Lopeck. A little motivational speech for his fighter.
On your face if you got to lose.
He's giving him a verbal slash.
Boy, that Gallagher gives nobody a little sermon.
Round 2. Eldard again. The aggressor with the body shots.
I think Lopeck has to get something going here quickly.
Lopeck's getting in one shot at a time. Eldard is the man, throwing several punches. There's a good combination by Lopeck. Now he's moving. That was a good move there. He slipped aside, got out of the path of the charging Eldard.
It's like a bull and matador.
You really can't talk about a more even amateur bout because both men have had 3 bouts.
Lopeck landing a left to shake it up Eldard, and it follows up with a combination, and Eldard is holding on. Good straight left. Lopeck really coming on here.
And that's exactly what happened in his last bout against Joseph Arpaia. Not looking good in the 1st round, catching some real tongue lashing from Tommy Gallagher, and back he comes.
That straight right hand set Eldard back, and he's on the run and in trouble.
I think Lopeck is just a slow starter. He's really putting on something here, though.
Referee got in the way of that one, almost got run over by Eldard.
Well, the thing that Lopeck is doing here in the 2nd round is he's moving away. As Eldard comes in, he slips off to the side and throws punches. Final seconds of round 2. 178-pound novice semifinal. Lopeck scores a right hand, and the end of round 2. And a real good round for Scott Lopeck of the South Queens Boys Club.
All out! Hey, look at me! Look at me! Don't give it up, Scotty! You're looking to give it up! Don't give it up! This is it! Stay on him! Don't smother your punches! We need this round. We can pull this out.
In round number 2, Scotty Lopeck started to turn it on and launch some wide shots, but real hard shots that, well, they didn't stagger Eldard. They certainly rung his bell. They had him backing up. They had him floundering. And then later in the round, Eldard started to come back, but ran into some counter shots from Scott Lopeck. I've got this fight even. And as you've just heard Tommy Gallego say, this is it. Don't give it up, Scotty. Same thing for Eldard. He can't give it up now.
Ronald Eldard, 23 years old, from Queens, works in a deli. He studied acting. He studied karate. Scott Lopeck, a bus driver from Queens. Eldard pushing Lopeck back. That's something that he should be cautioned against, the pushing. Right here, he's trying to keep him against the ropes. He's doing a lot of pushing.
In the professionals, you can get away with the pushing. This is not the professionals, and the referee should be right on top of them, giving a caution for that shove.
Absolutely.
It's funny, he hasn't said anything yet.
Sam Rosen, Randy Gordon, and Howard Davis Jr. ringside here. Semi-final coverage of the 62nd Annual Daily News Golden Gloves. Scott Lopeck in the gold, Ronald Eldard in the blue.
I think what has to happen is Lopeck has to get up the rope and initiate an attack, because he's letting this guy take the play from him. Even though he's not really doing anything, he looks like he's doing something by pushing.
And Lopeck, with blood dripping down from his nose, opens up an attack on Eldard. Eldard getting in a punch that was close to being low.
Lopeck looked over to his corner. Tommy Gallego throwing a punch.
I thought he was pushed down.
So do I. I don't think any punch landed.
But they're counting a knockdown. I thought it was a push.
From what I saw, it was a knockdown.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, remember, a knockdown doesn't count any more than just a regular punch.
Didn't hit him anything with authority, but he did go down from the blow.
Both with feet wide apart. Final seconds, round 3. I think Eldard may have pulled this out. Eldard in the blue has just gone for it. He has really gone for it, and I think he took it away from Scott Lopeck.
Many of those shots that Eldard was throwing in that last round were picked off on the arms and on the top of the head of Lopeck. Lopeck's problem is that he wasn't doing all that much anyway. If he had thrown a few more punches, he could have won it, because what he did throw, he was landing.
He had one brief flurry. He was effective, but he wasn't able to sustain it. Eldard, meanwhile, kept going. Howard, what'd you think?
Well, I think Eldard wanted it more, and it showed. It really showed. He kept the pace up. He initiated the blows.
Okay.
And he was definitely tenacious in there.
Was this a knockdown, or was this a push?
Straight right.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I saw it.
That's it. Straight right on the forehead.
Right down the middle.
He caught Lopeck, and Lopeck just stumbled backwards, never caught his balance. Down on the seat of his pants.
I think it was a combination of being off balance plus the blow.
Okay, cards have been collected. 5 judges doing the scoring in the semifinals. Here's the decision.
Ladies and gentlemen, the winner in the blue corner, Eldard.
In a close one, Ronald Eldard advances to the finals in the 178-pound novice class by winning a decision over Scott Lopeck of the South Queens Boys Club. A good win for Ronald Eldard, who really went for it, had a good first round, finished strong in the third. The competition here in the 62nd Daily News Golden Gloves continues in just a moment. We are set for more boxing action in the semifinals of the 178-pound novice class, and there is the former heavyweight champion of the world, Floyd Patterson, who's been working with amateur fighter Frederick Harris. Let's go into the ring to Bill Lamine for the introduction.
The referee now in the ring is Lou Cadella. Next contest, semifinal round, 178-pound novice class. 3 two-minute rounds. Introducing in the gold corner, representing the New York City Recreation, Schlonzo Peterson. His opponent in the blue corner, competing for the Huguenot Boxing Club, Fred Harris.
Fred Harris, the brother of Tracy Harris Patterson, who is in his corner. And standing outside the ropes, Fred Cardella is the referee. Fred Harris, 21 years old, makes his home in New Paltz, New York. There's Lou Cardella. In the gold, Schlonzo Peterson, one of the great names of the Golden Gloves. He reached the quarterfinals in 1984, the third round in 85 at 165 pounds, and now a semi-finalist here at 178. Tracy Harris Patterson, who is in Fred Harris's corner, the adopted son of Floyd Patterson, who's a former Golden Glove champion and now outstanding professional.
Peterson has dedicated this tournament to his old coach, Ike Chestnut, who passed away not long ago. He said, I'm going to win it all for him. So right now, he's got his problem with Fred Harris in front of him, a very talented young man.
Fred Harris, who is in the Navy, told our Paul Sullivan in the locker room that his hobby is blowing up ships. How about that? I think he'd like to blow up Schlonzo here.
It's a hell of a hobby.
That's a first.
Imagine practicing that in your neighborhood. I'm going down to the lake to blow up a ship.
You know, I got a neighbor around the block who keeps his boat in the driveway. I'm gonna call up Schlonzo. Fred Harris, rather.
Harris in the blue, Schlonzo Peterson in the gold. Harris just a little short with that right hand.
These guys are taking aim at one another, planting the feet and letting go.
I think both of them are right-hand crazy at this point.
Harris is 3-0 in the tournament thus far with 2 knockouts. Schlonzo Peterson 3-0 with 1 knockout. Good right by Schlonzo Peterson. Final seconds, round 1. Schlonzo Peterson had a good round, but he had a point taken away for holding just prior to the bell. Referee Lou Cardella stepped in and took a point away from Schlonzo Peterson for holding. That'll hurt.
Well, here in the Golden Gloves, the judges are pretty generous with their scoring. 20 points to the winner, around 19 or less to the loser. And very frequently, you see 2018 and 2017 rounds. So if that was a 2019 round, you got to make it 2018 if indeed Harris won it.
Fred Harris has landed a couple of good right hands here in the second round. Harris much busier here in the second round.
And those are the exact words former champ Floyd Patterson told Harris, get out there and be busy, because he realizes if Harris takes this round, this guy's gonna have to get knocked down to lose.
You notice these guys are pretty evenly matched. I mean, they're just throwing right hands, bombs away, you know?
From the first round, they've been taking measure with the right hand, but they're gonna have to settle down, I think, sooner or later and just start throwing a lot more jabs. Because when they're throwing those right hands, they're getting tangled up a lot and it's getting very sloppy.
Harris stopped James Flanagan in the quarterfinals. Harris entered the Golden Gloves. Then, because of his brother, lands another right hand. Now, Schlonzo Peterson, this is his 3rd Golden Gloves, and yet he's still a novice. That's because coming into this Golden Gloves, he had fought fewer than 10 amateur bouts. Good straight right hand by Schlonzo Peterson. Landed another one as well. They're taking turns, dropping the right hand.
Another very tough round to call.
Makes that 1 point taken away from Peterson in the first round look very, very big. Fred Harris slowly back into his corner. Floyd Patterson steps in, and that's Tracy Harris Patterson leaning in from outside. Former Golden Gloves champion, Tracy Harris Patterson, the adopted son of Floyd Patterson. Take a look at these rights, Howard.
Yeah, I noticed each one of them just measuring up. And that's another thing I noticed, that neither one of them hardly throw any jabs or try to set up their opponent for the right-handed, just throwing it. Ducking their head and just winging them.
Not much of a game plan, just go in and throw the bomb.
That was the thing I always remembered about you, even in your earliest amateur days, that you'd get out there and you'd use this very big ring. This is the ring you fought in, and you'd throw the left jab over and over and over again to build you a 125-5 amateur record.
For Randy, you know, my forte was speed and smartness, and I tried to use the ring as much as possible, trying to set up my opponent.
Harris in the blue, Peterson in the gold. We'll mix it up in close with Harris doing a little holding behind the head, but Harris throwing a lot of punches. They're trying to stay busy on the inside. So Cadella steps in. Third and final round.
I think these gentlemen have to realize that there are not too many ticks on the clock left, and whoever could pull this one out could possibly go on to the finals.
Harris, surprisingly, has been the one who's been moving away up until this point here.
I think at this point both of them are a little tired, and I think the one that initiates it just a little bit more than the other will probably pull it out.
Schlonzo Peterson, a contractor for Brooklyn Queens Cable. Fred Harris in the Navy. Likes to blow up ships. Peterson loading up for that right hand.
Well, in the first round, Fred Harris had some explosives on that right hand. He's just trying to blow up Schlonzo Peterson, but he just hasn't been able to do it, although it's been a close fight. And you have to wonder if the judges are going to look at that as effective aggressiveness or just plain old aggressiveness.
What I don't understand now, Randy, is that Harris is moving around the ring, I guess trying to rest, but he wasn't throwing any jabs.
Let's see if that cost him or not. This should be a very close decision. And again, go back to that first round when Schlonzo Peterson had a point taken away from him for excessive holding.
Well, how's this? On my unofficial scorecard, I've got it 58 points apiece because of that 1 point that was taken away in the first round from Schlonzo Peterson. I've got Peterson winning 2 rounds to 1, but you don't go on rounds, you go on points. So I got a 58-58. So the next criteria is who was the most effective aggressor. Now, give me a coin. I mean, I think it was that close.
Well, I think I have Peterson slightly ahead because of the last round.
Yeah, I agree with you, Howard, but I think that point in the first round may really
it might be deciding. It might be the deciding factor.
That could be, and because Harris is putting on a lot of pressure in those early rounds, I have a feeling Harris just might pull it out, but we don't count.
Looking at Schlonzo Peterson, his 3rd time in the Golden Gloves. Here's the decision.
Ladies and gentlemen, the winner in the blue corner, Harris.
It's Fred Harris.
Probably because of the point.
In the corner of Fred Harris.
Fred Harris, trained by the former heavyweight champion of the world, Floyd Patterson, assisted by his brother, former Golden Gloves champion Tracy Harris Patterson, has defeated Schlonzo Peterson for the 3rd time in his amateur career. Schlonzo Peterson has been eliminated from the Golden Gloves. Welcome back to Madison Square Garden's Felt Forum. We're live with our coverage of the 62nd annual Daily News Charities Golden Gloves semifinal action. And now we have dropped back to the quarterfinals in the 112-pound novice class. Well, they haven't finished the quarterfinals in this division. So let's go to Bill Lamine for the introduction.
112-pound novice class. 3 2-minute rounds. Introducing in the gold corner, representing the Police Athletic League, Robert Pena. His opponent in the blue corner, from the Downfront Oxen Club, Johnny Vasquez.
Johnny Vasquez in the blue. Lou Cadella is the referee. And Robert Pena in the gold. This is 112-pound novice class. Last year in the novice class, the championship won by Irving Pierre-Louis, who has stepped up to the 119-pound class this year.
This is the division where you're going to see a lot of speed. Not as much speed as you'll see down at 106, but you start to see some flashes of power and some combinations here. One of my favorite fighters who went on, real nice amateur record, then a professional record, professional champ, Jeff Chandler, 118. So very exciting division down around this area. 112, 118, 19.
I call these guys the Speedy Gonzalez's.
Well, you started out, I remember back in 72, you were boxing at about 118.
Yeah, that's right. That's where I started my amateur career. I started at 118. And a few years later, I started at 126.
Good hands by the man in gold, Robert Pena.
Good combination.
What's the key in this division, Howard? What do you have to do? Both fighters are quick. We know that.
Both of them are fighting smart, intelligent fights right now. I think where you're going to really see the action is probably in the second round. Right now, they're still trying to figure out each other. I think Pena's fighting a little smarter. And he just got caught with a right hand there.
Vasquez moving in.
I might have spoke too soon.
There's that shoe shine on the inside.
Vasquez in the blue, 23 years old, fought in the Golden Gloves in 1985. Lost in the first round. He's doing well here. Round two, quarterfinals, 112-pound novice class. Robert Pena from Manhattan, rather from the Bronx, born in Manhattan. He's in the gold, 19 years old, 23-year-old John Vasquez in the blue. Works as a porter. He's from the Bronx.
I think, as I stated earlier in the first round, I think the second round is going to be the most exciting round. And so far, it's starting to be that way.
Cadella, the referee.
In the amateurs, because they're only 3-round bouts, if you lose the first round, now you know you've either got to knock your opponent out or you've got to come on to win the next 2 rounds. You don't have anything to play with.
You're absolutely right. There's many times where I fought and I thought I lost the first round. I knew instinctively to come out and the next 2 rounds either bombs away or stay busy.
Warning for coaching in the corner.
If you're coaching in the amateurs, you've got to put a zipper on it. You cannot open your mouth so the referee can hear.
I disagree with that rule. What do you think, Howard, as far as coaching from the corner?
Well, they're kind of strict in the amateurs about coaching in the corner. I disagree with it. I think it should be allowed.
One reason they do it is because if they didn't, there would just be tremendous noise in the corner from everybody, from all the trainers. So they just try to keep some semblance of sanity in the corner by keeping everybody quiet.
I don't know. Especially with the sub-novice, I think there should be a little coaching from the corner, a little screaming, a little incentive, a little motivation.
Final seconds, round 2. Third and final round. Okay, let's check alongside here. Howard, who do you think's ahead in this fight?
I think Vasquez is. I think he's keep cornering Pena on the ropes.
Randy?
I gave round number 1 to Pena. I gave round number 2 to Vasquez. I've got it even, so this is a very important round.
I agree with Howard. I think Vasquez is ahead. There's a caution for pushing. The referee Lucidella. Fans don't like the fact that he stepped in.
I didn't see
Vasquez on the attack.
See, the judge is looking at Pena against the ropes, and this kid, Vasquez, is welling away. And they see that as aggression, backing him up, throwing punches. Pena has to get off the ropes and use his legs like he did in the first round.
Good left hook by Pena. And daggers him back with a couple of right hands. Pena's turned it around very quickly. Good flurry. They've turned this around in the favor of Robert Pena.
And he has to get off the ropes, as he just did.
The judges never like to see a fighter laying back on the ropes, taking shots, even if he's blocking them, waiting for a counter shot. In the amateurs, the judges just don't go for that. Nice right uppercut by Pena, following with a soft left hook. And there's that shoe shine on the inside that you used to do so well in the amateurs. You would steal rounds that way.
Oh, that was fun.
On to the judges for the decision. Robert Pena in the gold. John Vasquez in the blue. And again, this will be a very close one to call. Pena had a good rally here in the third round.
The opening 30 seconds or so, Vasquez looked to be on his way to victory. Then suddenly, Pena started coming on. Nice counter shots, jumping in with sharp right hands, left hands, combinations. And on my unofficial scorecard, I thought he took the round by pulling out the last minute and a half or so of the round. I had him winning the first and third rounds. It's going to be another close one.
I think Vasquez was a little more aggressive, but I think Pena pulled it out in the last round with his sharpshooting.
Okay, Pena, who's in the Golden Gloves for the second time. Last year, lost to the eventual champion in the 112-pound novice class, Irving Pierre-Louis. Let's go to Bill Lamine for the decision.
Ladies and gentlemen, the winner in the gold corner, Pena.
Robert Pena. We'll move on to the semifinals. A strong finish by Robert Pena in the third round earns him the victory. Robert Pena, representing the PAL, has won the decision over Johnny Vasquez. We'll be back with more in a moment. This is kiddie time. 16-year-olds in the ring at the start of their careers in the Golden Gloves. Let's go to Bill Lamine for the introduction.
Ladies and gentlemen, the next contest, 112-pound novice class, 3 two-minute rounds. Introducing in the gold corner, representing Gleason's Gymnasium, Carlos Torres. His opponent in the blue corner, competing for the Bronx Chester Boxing Club, Julio Atiles.
Both fighters born in Puerto Rico. Julio Atiles in the blue lives in the Bronx. Carlos Torres in the gold lives in Brooklyn. Carlos Torres has had more amateur competition. He went to the semifinals of the Spanish Gloves. He's 14-3 as an amateur. Julio Atiles 0-2 in the Spanish Gloves and the Junior Olympic competition. Both 16 years old. Carlos Torres in the gold, a student at Bushwick Regional High School. And Julio Atiles is a sophomore at Stevenson High School. Atiles in the blue, Torres in the gold.
Torres had a tough fight 1 week ago when he decisioned Abraham Nieves in the quarterfinals.
Atiles is a slick little boxer for 16 years old. He shows the poise of an experienced fighter. Look at him slipping the blows.
And I said in the quarterfinals, on his way to the quarterfinals. It was a tough one all the way. Torres' fine conditioning pulled it out in the third round.
All of our other action tonight will be semifinal action here in the 112 novice. These are quarterfinal bouts.
This kid is a very intelligent boxer. He jumps in, throws his punches, pulls out. Atiles. Very slick. Look at him.
Torres seems to be fighting under control here. He hasn't been wild with his punches. Got caught with a left hook there, though.
Howard, they're using 14-ounce gloves, and they're also the thumb lock gloves. Some of these guys, they've already boxed with the thumbless gloves. What do you think about the thumbless?
Well, I tried them. Eldard sent me a pair when they first started experimenting with them, and I didn't like them. They sort of restrict you.
How about the 14-ounce?
Well, I never tried the 14-ounce. They sent me, I think, a 10-ounce and a 12-ounce.
Left hook scored big for Atiles. Sam Rosen, Randy Gordon, Howard Davis Jr. ringside. Hope you're enjoying our coverage of the 62nd Annual Daily News Charities Golden Gloves here at Madison Square Garden's Felt Forum.
As fine as Atiles looked in the first round, I gave him that first round. He's only had 2 amateur bouts. He's lost them both. Once he lost on a decision in the Spanish gloves, another time on a decision in the Junior Olympics.
Howard, you like Atiles. What are the tip-offs on him?
Well, he's using his jab. He's using his lateral movement. He's slipping under the blows. Right now, he's making a mistake by... right now, he just slipped. He's making a mistake by slugging. He should have revert back to what he was doing in the first round. Jabbing, moving, counter-punching.
Atiles has experience in the Junior Olympic program, also competed in the Spanish gloves. Both these contestants are 16 years old.
Amazing for 16 years old to be this poised.
Oh, wait a minute. I remember you back in 1972. The first time I saw you, I said, I have never in my life seen a kid so fast. That was 16 you were.
Meanwhile, here, Torres has been landing some good punches in his second round. Torres in the gold.
Torres is starting to come on a little bit. He's starting to land more frequent than he was in the previous round.
Torres has landed that jab. It's been effective. We're late in round 2. 112-pound novice quarterfinals. Carlos Torres trains out of Gleason's gym. Born in Puerto Rico, lives in Brooklyn. Student at Bushwick Regional High School. He's a junior. He's getting a lecture and a slap or 2. Across the way, Julio Atiles.
In Torres' corner, they're making a big mistake by letting him blow his nose. Sometimes you get hit on the cheek, and you blow your nose, sometimes your eyes swell up. And that's a cardinal sin in boxing.
Atiles representing Bronx Chester Boxing Club. Torres representing Gleason's gym. I've got the fight even, Randy.
Once again, we go to the third round. I've got it 38 points apiece. The final 120 ticks of the clock. Very important.
And I think both fighters feel the same way because they are both going for it. Atiles slipping a few punches. Torres landing with both hands.
Between rounds 2 and 3, that was the time for both corners. That's when you start hearing the expressions, who wants it more? Do you want it more than he does? What have you worked all this time for? Get out there and win it. And that's what it's all about, this round.
Atiles dropped in a right hand. Atiles back to that in and out form that he showed in the first round.
Well, I think Atiles right now is doing what he has to do.
He's landed a couple of good left hooks. He's throwing some big punches here. Torres trying to stay with him, but Atiles landing the bigger punches.
He's outspeeding him.
And there he moves out of harm's way. Comes back in. Getting that left hook. Atiles in the blue, Torres in the gold.
What Atiles is doing right now is not ducking after he's finished throwing his blows. He's paying for it.
Afraid of left hooks, and Atiles with a more effective punch.
But I think at this point, Torres is a little bit too defensive. He's backing up too much. Those punches didn't land at all. I think Atiles might have stolen this bout.
I think so.
I think so also.
A good round. They traded. Atiles apparently just seemed to have a little edge in power because he landed the bigger punches, slowing down Torres. 16-year-old Julio Atiles from the Bronx. A sophomore at Stevenson High School, hoping to move on to the semifinals. Now awaiting the scoring of the 5 judges at ringside. Take a look at Julio Atiles in that third round. Let's watch some of the things he did here.
Atiles in the blue just planted his feet and started launching those left hooks. He saw they were getting through and he said, hey, I'm not going to stop there. Let me keep letting him go. And over and over and over again. And I think it was those hooks and the fact that he was just a busier boxer that round may have won him the bout.
Threw many more punches during that flurry than Torres did. Let's get the official decision from Bill Lamine.
Ladies and gentlemen, the winner in the blue corner, Atiles.
Julio Atiles into the semifinals as he outpunches Carlos Torres. So the Bronx Chester Boxing Club has a semifinalist in the 112-pound novice class as Julio Atiles walks away a winner. Our coverage of the Daily News Golden Gloves continues with more quarterfinal action in the 112-pound novice class. Let's go to Bill Lamine for the introduction.
Ladies and gentlemen, the referee now in the ring is Dan Gant. Next contest, 112-pound novice class. 3 2-minute rounds. Introducing in the gold corner, representing the Police Athletic League, Miguel Martinez. His opponent in the blue corner from New York City Recreation, Gilbert Gallego.
Gilbert Gallego and Dan Gant is the referee.
Very animated referee.
Dan Gant checking with the 5 judges at ringside. Everybody's set. Here we go. Gallego in the blue takes a right, then a left. Tries to answer back. These two are much wilder than the previous contestants.
Wow. Look at Hernandez's headgear.
Hernandez in the gold, 17 years old, from the Bronx. Gallego in the blue, he's from Brooklyn, 16 years old.
Oh, what a jab.
Gallego, effective with his punches, lands a straight right that sends Hernandez back. Hernandez very shaky, his legs wobbly here, and that headgear all the way back on his head.
There's nothing worse than a headgear that just doesn't stay on your head.
Well, I think they're going to fix that right now.
Time for a little adjustment here. Clock is stopped. We're in the first round.
I mean, you got enough problems with the opponent in front of you. And when the head guard starts flapping all around and it starts bothering you, now you're fighting the opponent. You're fighting the head guard. You don't know what to fight. And I'm sure at this point Hernandez is saying, thank goodness they called time.
It's very frustrating. Even in the gym when I'm sparring for fighters, my headgear goes astray. I get frustrated.
Sorry, Howard.
I can imagine how Hernandez feels. Getting punched in a headgear that slips over the face. And
what about in the early years of the Golden Gloves when they didn't have the headgear? How was that? What was that like?
Actually, I like not having the headgear.
Really?
Yeah. You're less restricted.
Right now, Hernandez's headgear is doing nothing. It's way up on the top of his head.
I think Hernandez would like to quit. I'll tell you that.
I don't know about that. I think he's just very frustrated. He'd like to rip that head guard off, I tell you that.
He's looking into his corner. He keeps getting pounded. Here comes a standing 8. Dan Gant steps in. Hernandez has taken a lot of punches.
I really think the headgear is really bothering me. It's like a hat instead of a, protective gear.
That's right. Wow, and he takes some more shots. So a frustrated Hernandez goes into his corner. Gallego, a big first round.
That could well have been a standing 8 count. And what you do is you administer the standing 8 count. The bell rings, and then at the end of the 8 seconds, the fighter, if he's okay, then he can go back to his corner.
They're trying to adjust the headgear in the corner of Miguel Hernandez. Here is Gallego. Gilbert Gallego, representing New York City Recreation.
Gallego, the man in blue, had himself a real fine first round. Late in the round, nailing Hernandez with several hard shots, giving him a standing 8 count, working him over in the round. Scoring here is done on a 20-point must system, 20 to the winner. I got to score that 2018. A real nice round for Gallego.
Well, let's see if Hernandez feels any better. Comes out slowly.
I think what Hernandez has to do is get under Gallego's punches. His head is way up in the air. That's why he keeps getting hit. He doesn't duck under the punches.
He's got a mouthpiece that looks to be a little too big. The headgear that's ill-fitting. He's taking a lot of punches. Dan Gant steps in. Here comes another standing 8 count for Hernandez, and the corner wants to stop it. They take the 8 count, and that's it. That's it.
I think it was wise.
Hernandez overmatched in this bout with Gilbert Gallego. And this one is stopped after 2 standing 8 counts to Miguel Hernandez. 16-year-old Gilbert Gallego, his first fight in the Golden Gloves this year. Representing New York City Recreation. And a very successful debut in the gloves.
Hernandez never really was in this bout. And here in the second round, he just got hammered with that right hand over and over again. That third right hand, which is more of an overhand slapping right, had him turning away, his eyes showing some real pain and fear and resignation. He turned away, walked to his corner. His corner was already up on the steps, but in the amateurs, the 8 count must be given. And at the end of 8 seconds, the referee, Danny Gant, waved it over.
I think you missed one word that would tell it all. I think frustration would be the key word.
That was another one.
Yeah.
He just couldn't seem to get any punches in on Gallego.
I think nothing was going right for him tonight. Headgear, mouthpiece,
yeah,
getting hit. It's always next year, though.
At 17 years old, I venture to say we'll see more of both Miguel Hernandez and this man, Gilbert Gallego, will be back to fight in the semifinals. Phil Lamine has the official announcement.
The referee stops the contest after 1 minute, 38 seconds of the second round. The winner in the blue corner, Gallego.
Gilbert Gallego stops Miguel Hernandez in the second round, and he joins Robert Pena, Julio Atiles in the quarterfinals. One more in the semifinals. One more quarterfinal to go. And that'll be coming up in just a moment as we continue with our coverage of the 62nd Annual Daily News Golden Gloves. We're set to continue with our final quarterfinal bout of the evening. Let's go to Bill Lamine.
Ladies and gentlemen, semifinal Golden Glove action will resume here tomorrow night. Tickets for the finals at the Felt Forum, April 7th and April 8th, are now on sale at the Madison Square Garden box office. For complete details of the Golden Gloves, read the sport pages of the Daily News. There'll be a brief intermission after this next bout. Next contest, 112-pound novice class. 3 2-minute rounds. Introducing in the gold corner, representing the Knights Community Center, Louis Crespo. His opponent in the blue corner, competing for the Police Athletic League, Juan Rivera.
Rivera, 20 years old. Dan Gant remains in the ring as the referee. In the blue, Juan Rivera, 20 years old, from Brooklyn, born in Puerto Rico. 18-year-old Luis Crespo from Manhattan in the gold. First fight in the Golden Gloves for each man. The man in blue, Juan Rivera, doing a good job working to the body.
Louis Crespo, in the gold top, is 18 years old, claims he's been training since he was 12 years old. He just might need it because the man in front of him has had 30 amateur bouts, winning 20 of them.
And very aggressive.
And those are bouts in youth programs that do not count on the record in the Golden Gloves. Allowing him to continue as a novice fighter in the gloves. Caution to watch the heads, says Dan Gant.
Sometimes I have to wonder about that rule because so far as I watch Rivera, he really knows what he's doing. You can see that he's had close to 3 dozen bouts.
He's landed a couple of good right hands. And Crespo's had to back off to get out of trouble. Again, that straight right hand thrown well by Rivera. Juan Rivera has been on the attack from the outset, putting the pressure on. Round 2 of this quarterfinal bout, 112-pound novice class. Luis Crespo in the gold, Juan Rivera in the blue. And Rivera has been very aggressive, Howard. Right here, Crespo's trying to turn it around, but can't do it.
Rivera has been attacking to the body quite often. And I think what Crespo has to do is initiate the attack, sustain it, and he might can pull it out. But right now, he's more defensive than he is offensive.
Rivera's had him backing up almost all the way. Caution for coaching. The corner of Luis Crespo. Crespo representing Knights Community Center. Student at Richmond High School.
See, Crespo's throwing a jab, but he's not really connecting with it. It's more of a defensive ploy. And Rivera is attacking to the body quite often, which can wear a fighter down round by round.
Rivera looks to be slowing the pace down a bit, almost to be picking his shots, like he wants to land harder shots. Now he started leaning in with a combination.
Well, the reason why he can do that now is because the body blows that he initiated in the first round slowed Crespo down.
Well,
So now he can pick his shots.
For a novice fighter, Rivera's got some really good moves. He's had a lot of experience.
He said he had 30 fights, huh?
30, starting at the age of about 13. He's 20 years old now. Says his career goal is that he wants to keep on studying, keep on learning, just like Sam Rosen.
He's fighting like a pro. Going under the blows, coming up, counter-punching well.
End of round 2, and the man in blue, Juan Rivera, seems to have control of this fight. Don't forget the championship this year. The finals of the Golden Gloves have been split into 2 evenings, April 7th and 8th. And they'll be held here at the Felt Forum this year as opposed to the main arena. Think back to those years when you won it 4 straight, 73 through 76. What was that like for you?
Well, you know, as I look at the boxers tonight, and I fought in the same ring many nights in the Golden Gloves, one thing stands out more vivid in my mind than anything through the Golden Gloves is when I fought my second year in 1974 against the unbeaten champion at that time, was Wildman Alexander. And it was the semifinals, and we had to pick in a hat the number. And I picked 2, and he picked 1. And we fought that night, and that was one of the greatest events of my Golden Glove life.
Third and final round of this quarterfinal 112-pound novice bout. Juan Rivera in the blue continues to be the aggressor in this fight. Crespo's trying to hold him off, but it's not been easy.
Well, Crespo's starting kind of late. He should have been doing this in the previous 2 rounds.
Dan Gant, the referee, steps in.
The only way I can see Crespo winning is by knockout. I think Rivera has it clean cut.
That's something that's not likely to happen at 112 pounds.
Especially with the size gloves that they wear.
14 ounces in there. And when you're boxing at this weight, those 14 ounces sometimes seems like 14 pounds, like big pillows.
Oh, yeah.
Rivera has done a good job of slipping a lot of Crespo's punches here. And the body shots. You don't see that very often from fighters in the Golden Gloves. Some good body punching by Juan Rivera.
Those shots are staying with Crespo, and you better be sure that the officials are noticing them too.
He really wants this, Rivera. He really wants it.
This is a pretty good division. Pena, Atiles, Gallego, and it looks like Rivera is going to join them in the semifinals.
Good body blows, good defense.
I think no matter what happens in the semifinals, we've got Pena in there, Atiles, Gallego, and now I have a feeling it's going to be Juan Rivera, man in the blue top.
That's it.
Good fight.
Real good one. Rivera at 20 years old, showing a lot of experience for a novice fighter in the Golden Gloves. Crespo at 18 just couldn't slow down the attack of Juan Rivera.
Thank you.
Representing the PAL. Rivera works for the outreach program. His first fight in the Golden Gloves this year. It looks like it'll be a successful one for Luis Crespo.
Hey, he put up a game effort in there. He really tried. He knew he was outgunned, but you never saw any quitting that man. He kept coming in, tried to do his best, but he was in against a more experienced boxer.
Not only that, more experienced, more determined.
Fighters set to hear the decision from
Ladies
Bill
and
Lamine.
gentlemen, the winner in the blue corner, Rivera.
Rivera with the decision. Outstanding fight for 20-year-old Juan Rivera, who moves on to the semifinals in the 112-pound novice class. Juan Rivera, here's his name called as the winner, and happiness is moving on in the Golden Glove. Welcome back to Madison Square Garden's Felt Forum, our live coverage of the Daily News Charity's Golden Gloves. Most of it's semifinal action tonight, but we just concluded the quarterfinals in the 112-pound novice class. And still to come this evening, we have the heavyweight open and some good boxing action coming your way in that division. Michael Bent and Webster Vinson will be meeting up in the semifinals. They were finalists 2 years ago, and Vinson was the champion last year. Bent beat Vinson in the final 2 years ago. Right now we're set for some special awards. Let's go to ring announcer Bill Lamine.
Ladies and gentlemen, tonight Coors will present the Daily News Charities Incorporated with a check for $50,000. This check has helped the news continue this worthwhile program. Making the presentation for Coors is Dennis.
What an outstanding news has done year in and year out in putting together this fine amateur boxing tournament, one of the most prestigious amateur boxing tournaments in the country. Don't forget, coming up on Friday night here at the Felt Forum, Fight Night at the Felt Forum, with the main event featuring junior welterweight Howard Davis Jr., who's been alongside us this evening, going against the man from Louisiana, Shelton LeBlanc, a tough southpaw. That's our main event. You can see it right here on Madison Square Garden Network at 7:30, and the man who's in that main event is along with Randy Gordon at ringside. Let's go back to Randy and Howard Davis Jr.
This man was sitting with us at ringside tonight. As an amateur, he had 130 fights, winning 125 of them. And this Friday night, Howard Davis in this very ring right here on Madison Square Garden Network, he's going to make it 3 dozen fights. Well, your opponent, Shelton LeBlanc out of Lafayette, Louisiana. He's a southpaw. You've been predicting a knockout. He said, there's no way this guy's knocking me out. He says, as a matter of fact, he's going to knock you out. What do you say?
Well, I've heard these things before. You know, usually when I fight fighters that say they're going to knock me, I usually leave them with nothing to hit. It's going to be an exciting fight. It's going to be a little difficult in the beginning because he's left-handed. So he's coming from an unorthodox style. But I should have no problem with that after round 3 or 4.
I'm sure you want to take one fight at a time. But should you win the bout, what's next?
When I win the bout.
When you win the bout, what's next?
Let's be positive. My manager just spoke of, at the press conference today, spoke of me fighting Chavez. He's talking about moving up 2 weight classes from the lightweight division to the welterweight division and challenging
Mark Freeland, Starling, whoever wins that.
Marvin Stallings, yeah. And before he even challenged these guys, I'll take a slight detour and fight at a 140-pounder. And I think myself and him would be a good fight. I think it's a perfect confrontation of boxer and slugger. Me being the boxer with the slick speed and hand speed, and him being the power puncher and the aggressor. And I think it'll be a good fight.
Okay, back to Friday night. You've been predicting a knockout. Put you on the spot. Give me a round.
I won't predict a round. If I do predict a round, it'll be the later rounds, maybe 7 or 8.
Okay, thanks for joining us. Get back over to the hotel. We'll see you on Friday night. Good luck. Howard Davis Jr. Let's go back to another man who's really quick at the ringside, Sam Rosen.
Thanks, Randy, and again, our thanks to Howard Davis Jr. for joining us at ringside tonight. We wish him well Friday night in his main event bout with Shelton LeBlanc on Friday night, Fight Night at the Felt Forum. We'll be back with more of our coverage of the Daily News Charities Golden Gloves in just a moment. We'll resume in just a moment, a brief intermission, and coming up a little later on in the evening in the heavyweight open, Webster Vinson and Michael Bent. It's showdown time. Vinson the champion 1987, Bent the champion in 86 when he beat Webster Vinson. Should be a real good one.
And all we've been hearing about is Vincent talking that I want Bent. Bent's been saying, I want this guy one more time to show you it's not a fluke. I can hardly wait till these guys get it on.
Don't forget, Michael Bent is the #1 ranked heavyweight amateur in the United States. Right now, we want to take a look back at last year's finals. Some of the highlights in the championship fought in the main arena. In the 119-pound open class, Peter Nieves won his second Golden Gloves title as he defeated Alfred Rodriguez, stopped him in the second round. But Nieves lost in this tournament this year, Randy.
Yeah, it was not to be. He was looking for another Golden Gloves title, and he just was outpointed, and the gloves change again.
And here's Willie Wise. Here's another man who was eliminated in this year's tournament, and he was a 2-time champion.
Well, the man who beat him was Larry Barnes. Larry Barnes had lost to Willie Wise previously. It was a very close decision. Barnes stormed him for 3 rounds. And Willie Wise, I thought, was maybe one of the best in the Golden Gloves. It is not to be this year for Willie.
He was the 147-pound champion last year. Now coming back, going for 4 Golden Gloves championships will be the man in blue, Ray Rivera. Last year he won for the 3rd time at 156 pounds.
The man is relentless. He has solid power in both fists. He throws a lot of punches, and he just wears an opponent out. He just stays right on top of him. What a boxer he is, Sam.
His goal, to fight in the Olympics this year. Another fine young fighter is a little guy, David Villar. But I don't know if he's got any opponents at 106 pounds. He never gains any weight.
I don't know how this guy stays at the weight, but he just keeps training. He just keeps winning anytime he does box. And he certainly is an Olympic prospect. What a talent.
3-time Golden Gloves champion David Villar at 106 pounds. Also in the Golden Gloves, we always see some power. How about Roy Reid last year, winning the 178-pound novice by stopping Gregory Warner with some big shots in the 2nd round. And then in the super heavyweights, it was Herbert Veal with a 1-punch knockout over Lon Vaitkovicius in the 1st round. Some of the highlights of the Golden Gloves, and we expect to see some more exciting bouts tonight. There's more Golden Gloves action tomorrow night, semifinal action here. We'll have delayed tape coverage of that. And then next week, next Thursday, we'll be on live with semifinal coverage of the Golden Gloves, more semifinal action. And then April 7th and 8th, the final split up into 2 nights. And I think that's a good idea, Randy.
I really like that. For the very first time, they're going to be doing that. And a lot of people said, well, it's not going to work. But all of a sudden, people are talking about it, that they're going to start coming to 2 different nights. And it just gives people an opportunity who might not have had the opportunity to come on one of those nights, at least to see some of the finals of the New York Golden Gloves. A real novel idea.
It also prevents those fighters from fighting at midnight, waiting around for hours to get their chance to fight. They'll fight a lot earlier this time. Our coverage of the semifinals of the Daily News Charities Golden Gloves continues here at Madison Square Garden's Felt Forum in just a moment. And a 1-time Golden Gloves champion, Irving Pierre-Louis, is getting into the ring, or Irving Pierre-Louis. Last year, a champion, and stepping up, he was the 112-pound novice champion last year. This year, fighting in the 119-pound open class. Fighters in the ring. Bill Lamine is back for the introductions. He'll tell you about it right now.
The next contest, semifinal round, 119-pound open class. 3 2-minute rounds. Introducing in the gold corner, representing the Bedford-Stuyvesant Boxing Club, Anthony Perez. His opponent in the blue corner, competing for Gleason Gymnasium, Irving Pierre-Louis.
Irving Pierre-Louis, 17 years old, from Brooklyn, 112-pound novice champion in 1987, 41-8 is his amateur record. Dan Gant, the referee. Louis defeated Junior Jones in the final last year at 112 pounds. Anthony Perez is 18 years old from Brooklyn.
Irving Pierre-Louis. Fans are going to enjoy watching him box because he's got very quick legs, a leather-proof defense, and he uses both hands very well.
And you see those quick body shots, left hook to the head.
Not a very hard puncher, but he wins decisions, and I'm talking about at the end of the bout. There's normally no doubt about it.
Perez crowding Irving Pierre-Louis.
Perez, no beginner in there. The man's had 47 bouts as an amateur, winning 41 of them.
Perez with 1 black sock, 1 white sock.
Remember Dennis Milton from a few years ago? Different socks, different shoes.
No socks. Anthony Perez was the 112-pound novice champion 2 years ago, in 1986, when he defeated Leo Vargas in the final. So we have the 86 and 87 112-pound champions of the last 2 years meeting in the 119-pound open semifinals here.
This is Pierre-Louis's first bout. He drew a bye. And as far as Perez, he's had one bout. He won a decision.
Pierre-Louis, student at NewYork High School in Brooklyn. He's in the blue. Perez switching to southpaw. Continues to crowd. And both fighters staying busy on the inside. End of round one, a good one. Good competitive matchup by two former Golden Gloves champions, both with fine amateur records.
Looking into the corner of Irving Pierre-Louis, the man on the left reaching through the ropes is smiling Billy Giles, who took Hector Macho Camacho to several Golden Gloves title and to professional world championships. They're apart now, but his chief protege right now, welterweight prospect Aaron Davis.
Take a look at Irving Pierre-Louis and his quick hands working the body here.
Bing, 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 inside, all scoring shots.
And then moving out of trouble as Anthony Perez chased him.
And that's how Howard Davis used to box as an amateur. Quick on the inside, get on the outside, stab you with the jab, and move.
Round two. £119 semifinals. The open class. Good left hand got in there by Perez.
The heads just came together, and they are lucky that they're wearing head guards. That's what the head guards really are good for. Preventing those cuts from headbutts.
Irving Pierre-Louis has done his best work for those body punches. Staying very busy inside. Dan Gant cautioned Billy Giles in the corner of Irving Pierre-Louis for coaching from the corner.
Billy Giles never stops talking. He's always getting cautioned in the corner, whether it's amateur or pro.
Have to get some tape to cover his mouth.
I mean, this guy talks in his sleep.
Irving Pierre-Louis a little too wide with his punches, though. See him from the outside. He's been throwing his punches from the side.
Pierre-Louis fighting a different kind of bout than I'm used to seeing. I'm used to seeing him use the ring, use his tremendous speed and combinations. Now he's hanging on the inside, willing to slug it out.
Going toe-to-toe with Anthony Perez. A close battle of pumping arms on the inside. Test of stamina here as we come to the end of round two. 119-pound open semifinal bout. Third and final round. And a quick start for Anthony Perez. The crowd oohs and ahs because Irving Pierre-Louis should come in to touch gloves. And Perez never did touch gloves. He started pounding to the body.
Perez was right. You're not supposed to touch gloves in the Golden Gloves or any Olympic bout. You touch gloves just to start, and that's it.
Key here for both fighters, as you can see, they've been told to just keep punching, keep throwing punches on the inside. Neither man getting much punching room. And here it'll be tough for the judges to decide who's landing the more effective punches.
Oh, very tough. This bout has gone the exact opposite of how we thought it would go. With neither man being known as a puncher, but yet both hanging on the inside. And that could be the reason that they're willing to do it. Each man says, hey, my opponent is not known as a banger. Tonight I'm going to be able to take his shots and walk right through him.
Dan Gant tells Irving Pierre-Louis, keep your head up. You can't dip down underneath. Duck that head under. Irving Pierre-Louis just seems to have a little bit more. He's digging down, keeps throwing the punches. Perez not throwing as many punches.
But that hand speed, that tremendous hand speed, does not seem to be there for Pierre-Louis.
Both fighters are tired here. Louis breathing heavily through his mouth. But Perez, you can see, he can barely pick up his arms. Coming to the end of the fight. And that's it. Anthony Perez into his opponent's corner. And they're going back, and the corner men going back and forth in one another, chiding each other.
Yeah, one corner was saying, it's going to be close, but we got it. The other corner said, no, 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 no. I agree with you that it was close. We got it. Well, it was close. I gave rounds 1 and 3 to Irving Pierre-Louis, 29-19. And he's got this bout, in my mind, by 1 point.
Anthony Perez representing the Bedford-Stuyvesant Boxing Association. Irving Pierre-Louis representing Gleason's Gym. Cards have been collected. Bill Lamine has the decision. No, he hasn't gotten the cards yet. The referee is checking them over. Dan Gant now turns them over to Bill Lamine, and we'll find out the winner.
Ladies and gentlemen, the winner in the gold corner, Perez.
Wow. Oh, that surprises me. But Anthony Perez has won it over last year's 112-pound champion. So Anthony Perez will have a chance to go after his second Golden Gloves title in the finals in 2 weeks. Anthony Perez wins a close decision over Irving Pierre-Louis. The 62nd Annual Daily News Golden Gloves are brought to you in part by Cybergenics, Total Bodybuilding System. We are set to continue in the 119-pound open class. Bill Lamine will introduce the contestants in the next bout.
Ladies and gentlemen, the next contest, semifinal round, 119 open pound class. 3 2-minute rounds. Introducing in the gold corner, representing Gleason Gymnasium, Joshua Lopez. His opponent in the blue corner, competing for New York City Recreation, Raymond Castro.
Raymond Castro, a champion last year in the 112-pound open class. Dan Gant stays in as the referee. In the gold, Joshua Lopez, 18 years old, from Queens. Reached the quarterfinals in 1986, the semifinals last year, and here again in the semifinals. Lopez in the gold. In the blue, Raymond Castro, who won the 112-pound open championship last year, defeating Juan Acevedo in the finals. Castro in the blue is 23 years old.
If Castro wants to box Joshua Lopez, the southpaw, he's going to have to start moving a little bit more to his left. But because these are only 2-minute rounds, I'd have to tell him, step on the gas and throw punches. And remember, he's moving up 7 pounds from last year.
Quick combination by Castro and a good one.
Castro really wasn't a big banger last year. So far this year, he's had 1 bout. He's won it on decision. And while it looks as if he's boxing as smart as ever, he certainly is not.
Nice quick right hand got in before by Lopez.
He's just not, to finish the second set, a strong puncher. Quick hands, he has every punch in the book. He likes to put pressure on, but he should be putting that pressure on now.
Nice work by Lopez.
Lopez very happy to lay on the outside, stick in a combination, lead it off with the jab and get out.
A little bit of slapping punches by the man in blue, Raymond Castro.
Last year at 112 pounds, I don't believe we saw this kind of respect by Castro for his opponents. He put a lot more pressure on, but that 7-pound difference down at this weight division means a lot.
And don't forget, Lopez is a man who's had experience in the Golden Gloves as well, having been to the quarters and semifinals, and Lopez looking very confident in the ring. Here, Castro trying to get to the finals again. This program is authorized by Madison Square Garden Productions Incorporated solely for the entertainment of our audience. Any publication, rebroadcast, or the use of the pictures, descriptions, and accounts of this event, including the imposition of a charge for viewing the program without the express written consent of Madison Square Garden Productions Incorporated, is prohibited. Joshua Lopez, I thought he was very, very cool and confident in that first round.
I really like what I saw from young Lopez, just 18 years old, moved around, never showed any fear of Castro, who came into this bout considered by most to be the favorite. Getting instruction from Hector Roca, the man who trains
Buddy McGirt, junior welterweight champion, Buddy McGirt. Also trains Iran Barkley, former Golden Glover, and now middleweight contender and challenger for the middleweight title. Second round, 119-pound open semifinals. Joshua Lopez in the gold, Raymond Castro in the blue.
Castro has come out this round throwing a lot more punches, really putting the pressure on Lopez. He was told in his corner, don't let this guy box, get on his case.
Lopez doing some good work.
Well, he certainly started the round with a lot of pressure, and now he's starting to back up, but his corner is waving at him. Come on in, don't back up.
Nice right-hand lead by Lopez, but Castro answering back.
See how much better Castro is doing when he gets on the inside? I think that has a lot to do with the fact that he's 23 years old and Lopez is only 18.
But Castro seems to be trying to land one big punch. Lopez has been doing better with the flurries and combinations. Straight left got in by Lopez. Got caught with a left hook walking in.
It's obvious Lopez has done his road work because he's just bouncing around on his legs, showing no signs of being tired whatsoever. But this is not a 6-round bout. It's not a 4-round bout. It's a 3-round bout scheduled for 2 minutes each, and he's got to work if he wants to win. And I do think he won the first round.
Time winding down in round 2. Third and final round, semifinals, 119-pound open class. Joshua Lopez in the gold, Raymond Castro in the blue. Very close fight, Randy.
I gave the last round, round 2, to Castro. I've got it 39 points apiece.
Castro doing some holding on the left hand of Lopez, and Lopez kept working with the right. Good uppercut by Castro.
Castro putting his punches together very nice now.
Lopez trying to stay busy on the inside.
Lopez starts to move away very nice, but then he realizes this side of the ring is not going to win in this fight. It's not going to land punches, and he has to walk back into Castro.
Lopez trying to keep those arms busy. Castro has landed the more effective punches like that straight right hand.
See there? Castro getting one good shot and maybe a sufficient shot before that, but he took about 4 light shots from Lopez. So who do you score for? And normally in the amateurs, it's not the hard punches that count, it's the volume of punches.
Don't forget the word effective is a term that can be used loosely and defined loosely. you know, a little pitter-pat tap on the inside may not be considered an effective punch. In combination by Castro. Castro in the blue.
Castro got the best of that one. But for much of this round, Castro's been landing the harder shots. But I believe it's been Lewis landing more often, even on the inside of some little taps. Lopez won.
End of the fight. The winner will go on to the final in 2 weeks, April 7th and April 8th. 2 nights of finals here at Madison Square Garden's Felt Forum. We'll have them for you live. Crowd awaiting the decision. This was a good one. 2 high caliber contestants here in the 119-pound open class. I lean toward Castro.
And I go the other way with Joshua Lopez. I thought he might have worked a little bit more. I thought he took the harder shots in round 3, especially with an overhand right and one right uppercut. But I liked his work on the inside. I thought he threw a few more shots. It's going to be close.
Cards collected. Bill Lamine with a decision.
Ladies and gentlemen, the winner in the blue corner.
It's Castro.
You got it.
Raymond Castro in a real tough one, but he landed some good punches. Castro, a champion at 112 pounds last year, will fight for the championship in the 119-pound open division this year. He wins the decision over Joshua Lopez. We'll be back with a 132-pound open coverage of the 62nd annual Daily News Golden Gloves here at Madison Square Garden's Felt Forum. Standing by at ringside is Randy Gordon with a special guest. A couple of special guests, I should say. Let's go to Randy right now.
On my left is Dennis Berberich of Coors Beer, and on my right is Bill Allen, also of Coors. Dennis, you enjoying the fights tonight?
Terrific. A lot of fun. Great to see these kids with the competition, and they're really banging away at one another.
And Bill, what about you? My sentiments are exactly the echo of Dennis's. The competition is great. We think that the character of the young man who has been demonstrated here tonight is simply excellent.
Dennis, talk about Coors' involvement with the Golden Gloves.
Well, we got totally involved because we feel that any sort of a event like this where you're bringing young people together, keeping them off the streets, making them build their bodies, which is going to help build their minds, which is very important for the future citizenry of our company, our country rather. That's why we got involved, to show that we are good corporate citizens, and that's why we made the substantial donation tonight that we did make on behalf of the brewer, Bill Allen represents, and I represent the local distributor.
I know I speak for all the boxers in the tournament. Thank you for your involvement with Coors, Bill Allen and Dennis Berberich of Coors Beer. Let's go back to ringside and Sam Rosen.
Thank you, Randy. Thank you, gentlemen. Right now, we're set to step into the 130-pound open class. Let's go to Bill Lamine for the introductions to the next bout.
Ladies and gentlemen, the next contest, semifinal round, 132-pound open class. 3 2-minute rounds. Introducing in the gold corner, representing the Police Athletic League, Sean Daughtry. His opponent in the blue corner, representing the Huguenot Boxing Club, Vincent Furlani.
Vincent Furlani, trained by Floyd Patterson. There's Tracy Harris Patterson in the corner. You saw them earlier in the corner of Fred Harris. 132-pound open class. Furlani was boxer of the night in his last bout when he defeated Frank Iglesias. He's a good boxer. Furlani is 23 years old, born in Queens, and now makes his home up in Rockland County. And Sean Daughtry is 18 years old. His first year in the Golden Gloves, though he has fought in the PAL tournament, was the PAL tournament champion in 1987. Daughtry in the gold from the Bronx. Furlani was a quarterfinalist in the Golden Gloves in '86 and '87. And here stepping into the semifinals.
Daughtry said he hopes tonight's bout will not be as tough as his last one. 1 week ago over Alan Brown, he won a decision. And I mean, it was a close decision. Daughtry's conditioning pulled it out late in the third round.
The 132-pound Open champion last year was Eddie Hernandez, defeated Jacques Short. In the final bout of the evening, that night in the main arena, April 3rd, and that was at about 12:15. So one of the reasons splitting the finals into 2 nights this year is so that fighters won't have to wait around 5 hours before they fight.
The boxers actually began getting prepared one night, and they won their championship the next night, the next morning.
Final seconds, round 1. A look at former Golden Glover Tunde Foster. He reached the finals twice and had disappointing defeats both times.
Beaten by Wayne Anderton and now one of his best friends and stablemate Owen McGeechee.
Right here, Vincent Furlani in the blue doing a good job. Sean Daughtry in the gold. This is round 2, 132-pound Open semifinals. Furlani slipping some punches, working the body on the inside. Now cautioned to keep his head up. Dan Gant working overtime tonight. Vincent Furlani, 23 years old, is a graduate from Marist College. Majored in communications. Currently an employment coordinator for a health club.
Furlani wants to stay on the outside. Give some movement, move around. There was a shot that went below the belt. I don't believe Danny Gant saw it. And Daughtry was bothered by the shot.
Furlani reaching a little bit too much with his punches, not working his way inside. That jab coming up short, that left hook landed. Slapping left hook by Furlani. End of round 2. Don't forget the Golden Gloves finals split into 2 nights this year. They'll be held here at Madison Square Garden's Felt Forum, April 7th and April 8th. And we'll be covering the finals for you on Madison Square Garden Network, so be with us those 2 nights. Should be some great action as always. Some fine amateur boxers, many of whom will be hoping to take a major step forward in a quest to make the U.S. Olympic team. Floyd Patterson with instructions for Vincent Furlani. Third and final round, and the round to go for it here in a close fight. 132-pound Open semifinals. Furlani in the blue, Daughtry in the gold. Daughtry's first appearance in the Golden Gloves, but having fought several fights in other amateur competition, is an open fighter. Good combinations by Daughtry. Quick work to the body. Daughtry seems to be gaining and as the fight has gone along. Gaining confidence and movement. He's complaining about low punch.
About a low punch and the rough tactics of Furlani, who came barreling in and tried to push Daughtry against the ropes.
See, again, Furlani not jabbing his way, not punching his way in, just lunging to the inside, and I think that's costing him.
Some nice movement there from Furlani. Very light on his feet. Nice jab.
But his punches are missing. Again, he's reaching.
Well, there was one jab he did put right in the mouth of Furlani. I'm sorry, Daughtry with that good movement. Furlani in the blue top.
Daughtry looking a little tired here. But Furlani not being aggressive enough to go for it.
And Furlani reaching in with the jab. That time as he reached in, he got nailed with a nice chopping right hand.
Good work by Daughtry as he digs down for a final flurry.
And it's flurries like that win fights, that win rounds. And I believe Daughtry could be doing enough to win it.
I think so. I agree with you, Randy. Furlani trying to come on. They've exchanged punches almost evenly. Good exchange as we come to the bell. That's it. And we'll await the decision in this one. Boyd Patterson, who's done such an outstanding job with the young fighters up at the Huguenot Boxing Club up in New Paltz. Training his adopted son, Tracy Harris Patterson. You look at Sean Daughtry, 18 years old, representing the Webster PAL in the Bronx. He has the look of a winner.
I thought Daughtry lost the first round, but came on to win the next two, and I think that's going to be enough to win him the bout. It's the opening round, which is a curious one. Not many punches were being thrown. Both guys were feeling each other out for those 2 minutes. Very defensive.
Okay, Bellarmine for the decision.
Ladies and gentlemen, the winner in the gold corner, Daughtry.
Sean Daughtry eliminates a disappointed Vincent Furlani. Daughtry, he came on. He seemed to gain in confidence as the fight went on. And he defeats Vincent Furlani in the first semifinal in the 132-pound open class. Welcome back to Madison Square Garden's Felt Forum. We're set for the second semifinal, 132-pound open class. In the blue corner, 22-year-old Robert Maldonado. His third year in the Golden Gloves. He went to the quarterfinals in 1985. And in the gold, Robert David, 22 years old. Born in Georgetown, Guyana, lives on Long Island, represents the Atlantic Boxing Club. His first year in the Golden Gloves. Good right hand by Robert Maldonado.
Might be his first year in the Golden Gloves, but it's not his first bout. He's had 30 of them. He's won 20 for Robin David. And Maldonado, 47-8, 1987 Spanish Gloves champion. Both these guys know what they're doing in there.
Maldonado. Nice quick right hand used by the southpaw Robin David. Nice jab by Maldonado. Nice moves by Maldonado trying to slip those punches of Robin David.
1 week ago, Maldonado boxed Wayne Anderton, very talented Wayne Anderton, in the quarterfinals. And it was guts and a strong finish which pulled out the decision from Maldonado. And put him here tonight.
Wayne Anderton, a former Golden Gloves champion. Caution to get the punches up to Robin David. Lou Cordella is back in the ring as the referee.
Maldonado holding back on his right hand, waiting to pull the trigger, and there it is. That's his best shot.
Counter left hand by Robin David. I don't like the way that Maldonado carries that left hand down at his waist, Randy.
Well, he believes he's so quick that he can get away with it. A lot of times the judges get annoyed with that.
Final seconds of round one. Round two. 132-pound open semifinals. Robin David in the gold. Robert Maldonado in the blue. Now, I thought Maldonado fought that first round, Randy, as if this were a pro bout and not an amateur bout. Throwing one punch at a time.
Playing around, trying to lure his opponent in. He was very relaxed. Actually, nothing wrong with that, except the judges sometimes get annoyed when a fighter starts dropping his hands. And in a very close round, they tend to give it to the boxer who's displaying more of the basic skills.
Maldonado much taller than Robin David. David at 5'4", Maldonado 5'9½". But David has been able to get inside with his quick hands and work to the body. Maldonado trying to use that reach advantage. Maldonado's thrown some good punches.
David had this look in his eyes as if to say, Maldonado, stay right where you are on the ropes. That's where I want you. But he couldn't keep him there, and he looked a little bit disgusted as Maldonado slipped away.
Robin David, landscaper from Long Island. Good double up right hand by Robin David. And Maldonado trying to bull him around a little bit. Gets a caution from referee Lou Cadella.
You saw Maldonado pick that right hand up, anticipating a shot coming that way. Protect yourself at all times.
Maldonado loading up and doesn't seem to be busy enough. Throws a couple of extra punches after the bell and heads back into his corner. Robert Maldonado. Third year of the Golden Gloves, representing Gleason's gym. .22 years old, works as a courier. He would like very much to get a shot at the Olympics. Several fighters will be going to Colorado Springs next week to compete in the Nationals. Fighters who win the New York Golden Gloves will then be eligible for the regionals in Syracuse, and if they win up there, they too will go on to compete in the Nationals and a shot at the Olympic trials.
Still a long haul before the Olympics.
Very important year in amateur boxing. Third round, second semifinal, 132-pound open class. Robin David, the gold. Robert Maldonado, the blue. What do you think, Randy?
I gave both rounds to Maldonado, 2019.
Did you really?
Although that second round was very close.
I think it's a round apiece.
I just don't think David is throwing enough shots. He's picking his shots, not turning them loose. Stop. Remember what happened once in the Olympics with Evander Holyfield? The referee said stop. He let the left hook go, and down went the New Zealand fighter. And Evander wound up with a bronze medal.
I think it's Maldonado who doesn't throw enough punches. Maldonado has more of a professional style than an amateur style here.
And as far as turning professional, each of these youngsters said, one day we will go pro. But they're not actually babies by professional standards. They're both 22 years old.
David's hand speed has slowed down as he is tired in this fight. Maldonado starts to stay busy on the inside as he knows he's got to throw some punches, and does it there, trying to match David's work. Maldonado getting in a good right hand. Maldonado again, he's got the better punching power right now. He's throwing the sharper punches, the more crisp punches of the two. That's it. The winner to face Sean Daughtry in the finals. Robert Maldonado still has some energy left to spend. A little trot around the ring. Still to come. 147-pound open semifinals. And of course, the big guys, the heavyweights. Former champions, Ike Padilla, former novice heavyweight champion. Michael Bent, 3-time Golden Gloves champion. And Webster Vincent, last year's heavyweight champion. Cards being checked out by the referee, Lou Cadella. Waiting for one more. And we'll get the decision from Bill Lamine. Fighters to the center of the ring. One to go on to the finals, and one will be finished.
Ladies and gentlemen, the winner in the blue corner, Maldonado.
Robert Maldonado. A strong third round, I thought. As Robin David tired, it'll be Robert Maldonado and Sean Daughtry for the championship in the 132-pound open class. We'll be back in just a moment. One of the very special divisions down through the years in the Golden Gloves, the 147-pound open class, and Larry Barnes, who defeated Willie Wise, last year's champion, is in against Eddie Leon. Leon in the blue, Larry Barnes in the gold. Barnes representing the Yonkers PAL, Leon representing Gleason's Gym. Leon, his 5th year in the Golden Gloves. He's 22 years old. He reached the quarterfinals in '84 and fought in '85, '86, and '87. And Larry Barnes, his 3rd year in the Golden Gloves.
Larry Barnes, his favorite boxer is Mike Tyson, and you can see he comes into the ring with no socks. Barnes has won 2 Empire State Game championships in New York State in 2 weight divisions, in 1986 at 156 pounds. In 1987, he won at 147, beating the man right in front of him. So these guys know each other.
Barnes lost in the quarterfinals last year to Aureliano Sosa in the 139-pound novice class. Sosa, in '86 rather, was a champion in 1986.
And then Sosa lost last year. After beating Barnes, he lost to Willie Wise. Barnes just doesn't get off your case. He just keeps coming in. He has a real sturdy chin and just keeps throwing shots. Now, I was at ringside a few nights ago at Holy Cross High School when Barnes and Willie Wise mixed it up. A real fine round in the first for Barnes, but I thought Wise came back to win rounds 2 and 3. But yet, here's Barnes, and always does himself proud when he gets in the ring.
Larry Barnes hooking with that left hand. Taking the Dennis Milton approach with no socks is Larry Barnes, sitting down in the corner.
Well, that's because his idol is Tyson.
Dennis Milton, the former Golden Gloves champion. Michael Tyson, undisputed heavyweight champion of the world.
Unless, of course, you're Michael Spinks fan.
While we have a moment, we're talking boxing with our condolences along. Passing of a man who was so very, very involved in boxing, a boxing historian and the co-manager of Mike Tyson, Jimmy Jacobs, who died today, and our condolences to the entire Jacobs family and the entire entourage around Jimmy Jacobs and Michael Tyson. Just a very sad day in boxing when you lose a person like Jimmy Jacobs.
Jimmy just wasn't a good manager or even a great manager. I think he was the best manager in history. That's how good I think he was.
Right here, set for round 2, 147-pound open. Eddie Leon in the blue. Larry Barnes in the gold. Good sharp punches thrown by Barnes. Caution for holding behind the head to Leon.
The way to fight Larry Barnes, who stands 5'5", is to either box him from the outside or to get right on the inside with him and make him work. Where you don't want to let him stand is just at arm's length like that, because he's dangerous. He wings those shots, and they are powerful blows.
Barnes cautioned for holding. Good right to the body by Leon. Short punches thrown with the body. Good leverage by Larry Barnes. Almost reminds you of a mini Tyson, the way he just keeps coming in, doesn't it?
And if Barnes had the kind of power for his division that Mike Tyson has for his, Barnes would be unstoppable because he has tremendous stamina, a real fine chin, and he's just relentless.
We talked about the glamour in this division. Of course, this division belonged to Mark Freeland for so many years, the 5-time Golden Gloves champion. And then was won 2 years ago by Aaron Davis, who's now fighting so very well as a pro, undefeated. End of round 2. Last year, Willie Wise won when he beat Robert Camacho for the championship, but Wise eliminated by Larry Barnes this year in the quarterfinals. Eddie Leon, 22 years old, from Brooklyn. His 5th year in the Golden Gloves. 2-0 this year in the tournament with 1 knockout.
Some round 2 action with the man in the yellow top, Larry Barnes, coming in the way he always does. Just swinging from the heels, planting his feet, letting the shots go. Even when you're nailing him on the chin, he still is coming in, always trying to mix it up. He hates being clinched, just loves swinging it out.
Albino Dragon in his corner, along with Sal Corrente, the man who runs the Yonkers PAL boxing program. Sal, just one of the outstanding boxing people, amateur boxing people around. 3rd and final round as they both go for it. Leon in the blue, Barnes in the gold. Good right hand to the body by Barnes. Ripped it to the chest of Leon.
Both of these guys are known for their fighting heart, so you better believe that they've got to be thinking it's a close bout, and they've got to do everything in their power to step on the gas and pull it out.
Barnes got in a left and a right that shook Leon. Leon is a little wobbly here. The power of Larry Barnes showing through here. Good left uppercut by Barnes.
And it's not just the power, Sam, it's the fact that when you're getting hit by Barnes, usually you're getting hit with a few shots.
And right here, Leon takes a standing 8 after being hit by many shots from Larry Barnes. And you can see he's in some pain as he doubled over, trying to collect himself, but it's Larry Barnes with his strength, crispness of his punches, and been dominating this bout. Sharp jab. Every punch he throws is sharp. Barnes opening up again. Eddie Leon is wilting. Those legs spread far apart, trying to keep him up on his feet. Unable to fight off the determined Larry Barnes. Another good left hook by Barnes.
You know how pesky a fly is at a picnic when you're just trying to enjoy your food? That's exactly what Barnes is like. Just doesn't get away from it.
I don't think he's a fly. I think he's more like a killer bee.
All over. And I think it was that kind of round that pulled out the victory for Larry Barnes.
Larry Barnes, the look of a winner, goes back into his corner. Congratulatory taps from Sal Corrente. He fought well. And the cards being collected quickly, but watch the crispness in the punches thrown by Larry Barnes.
In that round, Eddie Leon was given a standing 8 count, and this was on the way to it. He was nailed with some tremendous shots, both to the head and the body, and he was being shoved around. And once the 8 count was administered, Barnes just didn't stop there. He wanted more, and in he came.
And Barnes all over Eddie Leon, right to the final bell. Good finish for Larry Barnes. There's Eddie Leon. Let's get the decision for Bill Lemine.
The winner in the gold corner, Barnes.
Larry Barnes moves on to the final. He will go after the Golden Gloves Championship in the 147-pound open class. We'll find out who his opponent will be in our next bout. It's coming up. Fighters in the ring. Bill Lemine with the introduction.
The next contest, semifinal round. 147-pound open class, 3 2-minute rounds. Introducing in the gold corner, representing the Times Square AC, Marvin Rowland. His opponent in the blue corner, competing for the Morris Park Boxing Club, Joseph DeGuardia.
'24-year-old Joseph DeGuardia from the Bronx in the blue. Fought in the Golden Gloves back in 1981. He was in a very serious car accident which caused a long layoff. He was hoping to make it to the 1984 Olympic trials, never did because of the accident. Now back and hoping to win the gloves and get a shot at making the Olympics this year. Joseph DeGuardia in the blue. He represents the Morris Park Boxing Club. In the gold, Marvin Rowland, who is 26 years old. Actually, he should be 25. Actually, well, no, that's okay. He became 26 after the start of the Golden Gloves. So he was just under the 25 age limit when the Golden Gloves began this year.
Just made it.
Reached the semifinals last year. Marvin Rowland in the gold.
And DeGuardia in the black trunks was a history major at Fordham University. He graduated in 1986, and he'd like his boxing history to say he was one day a Golden Glove champion and maybe an Olympic star.
He is in his second year in law school at Hofstra. Joseph DeGuardia.
A triple hook, a fast triple hook. All those punches were merely slaps, nothing happened. But if one fighter is throwing the shots and the other is standing there, you can't help but really give that round to the man who's doing something.
Good work by DeGuardia. Quick jab and followed up with the right hand. Left hook that shook up Rowland. Rowland backs off. DeGuardia moves in. All over Rowland. Marcel Hagee was almost going to give Rowland the standing 8 count. Backed off. No pushing, says Marcel Hagee.
Rowland is very, very tight. He's already tasted a hard left hook from DeGuardia, and he's not relaxed. Very jittery and jumpy.
Quick hands by DeGuardia. End of round 1. And a good one for Joseph DeGuardia. His father is in his corner and steps into the ring to talk with him. Good start to the fight for Joseph DeGuardia. His goal is to make it to the Olympics this year.
And in round one, the man in blue, Joseph DeGuardia, came in with a sharp left hook, which drove his opponent Marvin Rowland back into the ropes very nearly. It was a standing 8 count. The referee was looking. Perhaps one more shot would have brought in the standing 8. And there's a very calm DeGuardia.
Across the way, Marvin Rowland trying to collect himself, representing the Times Square Athletic Club. Donald Washington, his trainer, but also in his corner is Emil Griffith with instructions for him. Round 2. Rowland lunging. DeGuardia smartly stepping aside. The bull and the matador, it looked like. DeGuardia says he wants to win an Olympic gold medal in '88 and then go on to become a top-notch lawyer. Good right hand, he follows up with a left hook.
Sam, he's certainly boxing a very smart bout tonight. Keeping his distance, using some fine defense and using some quick hands to get in and score on Rowland and then get out.
DeGuardia is 24 years old. This is his second time in the Golden Gloves. His first time way back in 1981. Serious car accident laid him up and kept him away from boxing for several years.
There have been 2 times this bout when DeGuardia has tripled up on that jab. He did it about 30 seconds ago, and when he does, Rowland is very confused, pulls straight back, and gets just totally flustered. And if I was in the corner of DeGuardia, I'd be telling him to pull the trigger on that triple jab a lot more. And as far as Rowland's concerned, he's got to get on track with that left jab. He's standing there, not doing anything more than a statue.
Rowland hasn't landed anything with the exception of a right hand just a little while ago. He's missing a lot of punches. The quickness of DeGuardia working in his favors, but Marcel Hagee saying don't grab the head and push him aside. Time winding down, quick hands by DeGuardia. Score again as we come to the end of round 2. Sam Rosen and Randy Gordon ringside. Hope you're enjoying our live coverage of the 62nd Annual Daily News Charities Golden Gloves here at Madison Square Garden's Felt Forum. There's more semifinal action tomorrow night live at the Felt Forum. We'll have it for you on Madison Square Garden Network on a delayed tape broadcast. Then a week from tomorrow night, we'll be live from the Felt Forum with more semifinal action. And then the finals April 7th and April 8th here at the Felt Forum. Right here, Joseph DeGuardia in the blue, totally dominating this fight with Marvin Rowland in the gold.
This bout has been just a question of DeGuardia's experience. 40 bouts, winning 36 of them against the 9 bouts of Rowland, of which he's won 8. Rowland is being out-hit, out-fought, out-fought.
Very good work by Joseph DeGuardia. He's won 2 decisions thus far in the tournament. Rowland has won twice. But Rowland has landed very few punches in this fight.
Rowland keeps walking straight in, banging his gloves together, but then he never lets the punches go. He'll stand there and stand there. And the man who gets off first, that time it was Rowland, but normally it's DeGuardia who the expression is getting off first.
I may be getting ahead of myself, but I really believe DeGuardia is going to win this fight, which would set up a DeGuardia-Barnes final. Boy, that's a good one.
That's a very good one.
The very aggressive Larry Barnes and the stylish boxer DeGuardia. Left hook to the side of the head. Rowland backs off as we come to the end of the fight. That's it.
There's got to be no question that Joseph DeGuardia is going to win this fight, which, as you mentioned, will set up the Larry Barnes bout. After this one, you saw DeGuardia putting on most of the pressure. In the Barnes bout, you know who's going to put on the pressure there, little Larry.
Well, it'll be interesting if DeGuardia gives him a little slipping movement against Barnes side to side and gets out of the way of some of those rushes. But here, he was beating Roland to the punch constantly.
Since the opening bell, it was the quicker hands, the much quicker hands of DeGuardia, which earned him, I believe, every round in the bout. I gave the first round 2018 to DeGuardia, then 2019 and 2018 again in the third. There can be no doubt about this. If DeGuardia does not win this, it has to be one of the worst decisions I've seen.
Well, I know you're protecting yourself, but I think it is
Me?
Clear. Bill Lamine will announce the decision.
Ladies and gentlemen, the winner in the blue corner, DeGuardia.
So Joseph DeGuardia, whose goal is to make it to the 1988 Olympics. The first step would be to win the New York Golden Gloves. He will fight for the championship in 2 weeks against Larry Barnes. A clear victory over Marvin Roland in the semifinals of the 147-pound open class. Welcome back to Madison Square Garden's Felt Forum. Heavyweights in the ring in the semifinals. The heavyweight open class. Ike Padilla, one-time novice champion, last year a finalist, and Matthew Grace, a finalist in 1984 when he lost to Ira Turner. He's been in the semifinals. This is his 4th year in the Golden Gloves. From San Mateo, California, where he was born, and now living in Manhattan. Ike Padilla, who lost last year in the finals to Webster Vincent.
Padilla hurt Grace with a short left hook, and Grace fell into a clinch. Watch that left hand of Ike Padilla.
Padilla won the heavyweight novice championship in 1986 when he stopped Mark Wisbicki in the 2nd round and lost to Webster Vincent last year. Grace, 6'5", still an up-and-down fighter as he's been throughout his amateur career. Matthew Grace now 25 years old. His final year in the Golden Gloves.
There's that left hook.
And wobbles Grace. He's on very wobbly legs and takes a quick standing 8 count from Marcel Hagee. He gets his gloves up to indicate he's ready to continue.
Actually, he dropped his hands. The referee could have made a technicality out of that one, but here comes the left hand again. Watch it. Grace's right hand is still down. He's still open to the hook, and it landed again.
Padilla with a good left hook, and again. But Grace is answering back with some lefts of his own. That's what hurt Padilla last year, is he took too many punches. He throws a lot. He's strong, but he got hit with a lot of punches last year. It cost him the championship.
I don't know if it matters right now, Sam, because I believe Grace's legs are gone.
Good right, and a left follows by Padilla, and another right hand. Marcel Hagee was about to give Grace another standing 8. The bell sounds. A big first round for Ike Padilla.
What are you going upstairs with a big tall guy like that?
19-year-old Ike Padilla.
Some action from round number 1. The man with the gold top, Ike Padilla, kept the pressure on, slipped the jab, and it was just so perfect the way he stepped in with that left hook. He slipped the jab and then delivered the left hook. There he just took a left hand, a light left hand on the chin, then delivered another left hook. That one drove Grace back, and the referee stepped in and administered an 8 count.
Matthew Grace, breathing heavily, just takes too many punches.
I think Grace looks a little bit like the actor in Beverly Hills Cop, Judge Reinhold.
Dick Coffey, the man who trains Seamus McDonough in the corner of Matthew Grace. Grace with blood coming down from his nose. Goes on the attack, tripling up with that left hook.
But he's making a mistake against him. When he's throwing the jab, he's dropping the jab. And as he's throwing the jab, his right hand is also coming down. It's called seesaw. He's going to run into that left hook one more time.
Like Padilla, another man whose goal would be to make it to the Olympics, leads with a left hand that staggers Grace again. Marcel Hagee was about to step in with a standing 8 and thought the better of it. Said no, let him continue. Grace comes back with a good flurry.
Blood now coming from both nostrils of Grace. That left hand has been a punishing left hand from Padilla.
Padilla, nice move, dipping down and then throwing the left hook. He's got power. Straight right hand, combination, wobbles Grace, and down he falls. A shaky Matthew Grace with eyes glazed gets to his feet, takes the mandatory 8, gets his hands up, wants to continue, but he's taking a pounding.
Here comes Padilla trying to finish it off.
Padilla totally dominating this fight.
If Grace has any legs under him, he should move.
Grace lands a left hook.
And he's doing just that, trying to keep away, trying to get his head back.
Grace used Padilla to keep him up. Padilla very patient, bobbing and weaving very nicely as he moves his way in. Padilla is really much more polished fighter now.
Matthew Grace got up a nice right hand of his own.
Grace ties up Padilla, end of round 2. A bloodied Matthew Grace sits down in his corner. Giving it one more try. Matthew Grace in his last year in the Golden Gloves at age 25. Again, watch Padilla. The combination, the jab followed with the right hand.
Both punches are working well for Ike Padilla. But the hands of Matthew Grace just keep dropping. He's leaving his chin wide open every time he punches.
Getting set for the third and final round. And yet to come, the semifinal matchup between the champions of the last 2 years in the heavyweight open division. 1987 champion Webster Vincent, 1986 champion Michael Bent, who's currently the #1 ranked heavyweight in the amateurs in the country. Final round. Good right hand by Padilla.
That was just a tremendous shot from Padilla. That might have been his best punch of the bout. And Grace is still right there.
Again, I'm impressed with the way Padilla has polished his overall performance. Matthew Grace will take a standing 8. That's 3. One more knockdown or standing 8 will end the fight. Grace wants to continue. Glancing right hand landed that time.
But he's still so wide open. The left hook.
That's it.
Yep, the left hook was just going to get him again. If the left hook wasn't going to get him, the right hand was. Grace just has to work a bit more on his defense, but there's nothing wrong with the young man's heart.
Ike Padilla will reach the finals for the 3rd straight year. He won as a novice in 1986. He lost in the open final last year from Matthew Grace. Yet another disappointment as he comes up short. Eliminated in the semifinals. But Ike Padilla, very impressive, Randy. I just like the way he's polished off his tools. A lot more movement. Got hit with a couple of punches early, but started to slip many of them in the second and third. The announcement from Villar.
Stop the contest at the 45 seconds of the 3rd round. The winner in the gold corner, Padilla.
Ike Padilla, representing the Yonkers PAL, will fight for the championship and steps out of the ring to watch the next semifinal between Michael Bent and Webster Vincent. It's coming up.
Webster Vincent.
Set for the final bout of the evening in the heavyweight open division. The #1 ranked heavyweight in the United States, Michael Bent, weighing 201 pounds, a 3-time Golden Gloves champion. Currently representing New York City Recreation. He used to fight out of the Bedford-Stuyvesant Boxing Club. And there is Webster Vincent out of the Bed-Stuy Boxing Association, the 1987 Golden Gloves Heavyweight Open champion. Bent defeated Webster Vincent in 1986 in the open final. And it's Bent on the attack. Webster Vincent is 24 years old. Michael Bent is 22.
Bent has a strong world-class left jab. He throws some nice combinations, has a sturdy chin, and he's got an amateur record of 95-7.
Good combinations by Michael Bent. Lands a right hand. Staggered Vincent, another right lands, and another, and Marcel Hagee gets in for a standing 8. This is almost a repeat of 1986, where Bent is overwhelming Webster Vincent. Again, it's Bent all over Webster Vincent. Second standing 8 count. And it doesn't look like Webster Vincent can do anything to stop Michael Bent.
And Bent, a good finisher, will empty both barrels now and try to end it. Plenty of time remains.
Vincent trying desperately to slow him down, but his looping punches are not effective here. Caution to Michael Bent.
Bent getting over-anxious, but those are bombs he's throwing. It's going to take just one more, and this fight will be over.
Got a left hook in there. Can Vincent survive this first round? Final seconds, round 1. Bent opening up, the bell sounds. Vincent has survived. But you get the impression that it won't last much longer. The confident, powerful Michael Bent sits down in his corner.
Well, there were about 50 seconds remaining that Bent could have had to finish off Webster Vincent. He couldn't do it, and Bent is known to be a real strong finisher.
He will go to Colorado Springs next week to fight in the national tournament.
And here's what happened in that opening round. A series of blows staggered Vincent, who backed to the ropes. His eyes glazed over. He took a right hand and another hard right hand. The referee jumped between them and gave a standing 8 count. 1 of 2 during the round, given to Vincent. Still got bells in the ear.
Webster Vincent, who'd like a shot at the Olympic trials.